Welcome to Awakened Soul with me, Kristen. This is the place to elevate unity consciousness and create the new earth. Are you awakened to your heart and soul-led life? Are you seeking clarity, connection, and a deeper sense of purpose? You are not alone. You are part of a grand awakening, a collective shift that is transforming our world from the inside out. Join me each episode as we explore consciousness and spiritual evolution through inspiring conversations, wisdom teachings, and powerful activations. This is more than just a podcast. It's a sacred global community creating a new earth of unity, love, and freedom. So open your heart, get ready to be inspired, elevate in frequency, and awaken to your highest potential. The shift is here, and it all starts now. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Kristen Bielecki in the Awakened Soul podcast on Transformation Talk Radio. We're going to be here for the next hour, so stay with us to feel more calm in your heart and mind and clarity on your awakening path. I am going to be exploring pure love today and what that means beyond our human conditions, because love is such a profound feeling, and it's also so tricky. And I'm really excited to share this, as well as a pure love activation towards the end. So stick with us here as we move through this experience of exploration into the activation. And also, if you'd like to ask questions or share a comment, there's the ask button. You can click on that above the video and share with me anything that you're resonating with and or ask a question. So again, love can be so tricky, especially in this human body and form, right? It's such an incredible experience. Love itself is such an incredible experience when we feel that connection with someone, or we feel that connection with source or the divine. And it can also foster so many challenging, emotions and feelings, because each relationship has such a different dynamic play, right? Love can be, love can come and go in life. This human condition of love can be really fleeting. We can be in love with somebody and then we're not. We have, we have different experiences in our lives where we felt such elation of love, maybe even just in our meditation. And then when we're out of meditation, it's like, oh, where did it go? Right? It's a really interesting experience, to say the least. And I find that love itself, when we start to explore love, in relationships and, on our awakening path, that it brings up a lot. It brings up a lot. It can bring up a lot of feelings and experiences of separation, division, loss, hurt, pain, betrayal, and confusion, doubt. I know that sometimes there's even doubt that, love truly exists. And then sometimes there's those of us who can just really feel that pure divine love that's inherent in everything, and it's difficult to translate that into relationships with humans. Or vice versa. We can feel love here in the human form, and then we're like, where's source? I don't feel that divine connection. So it's a very diverse experience to have here on this planet Earth, in this body. And of course, all our incarnations and different lives and different planets, we all have our own version of that there as well. And so love, when we look at love, we can look at love as a form of connection. And love is defined as having a great affection for something, a feeling of deep affection, or a great sense of interest or pleasure in something, right? This is a human definition in our dictionary of love. And then we have this experience of divine love, where we maybe can define it. We all have our own feeling and sense of it. We can define it as unconditional, pure, transcendent, selfless. And it really has no sense of identity or self or purpose. It just is. It just is, and inherent in everything, regardless of what its makeup is. Matter, all matter is composed of source, and inherently with that experience there can be divine love, divine connection, pure connection. And so when we translate that to human relationships, where maybe it's our mom, our dad, our caregivers, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, our siblings, our cousins, our dogs, our cats, our birds, our other pets, our nature, friends, other authority figures in our life, or other peers or acquaintances or associates, our work relationships, our bosses, our co-workers, or just the neighbor next door, or the garbage man. There's so many different levels and layers of the way that we relate to people, and each has its own unique flavor of love in it, right? We can just inherently love someone because they exist, but we don't have a connection, a relationship, an ongoing intimate connection and friendship or relationship. And then with family members and things like that, man, those can be some of the most challenging ones, right? Because maybe growing up, we didn't receive certain sorts of types of care or love, or maybe there was a lot of love. I know, some people receive a lot of love from their parents and care and connection, or maybe the parents think they're giving a lot of care and connection, but the child itself isn't receiving it that way because of their lens. I mean, it's just so much comes with love in this human body. And it can feel really incongruent. It can feel really incongruent and challenging, very challenging sometimes. So how do we connect with this, our ideas, our beliefs, our conditions of what we feel love is in this human body, and also remember and embody and feel and connect into just pure inherent love that is unconditional, that has no set of requirements or expectations or ideas or concepts of what needs to happen for love to be there. Or if there is love, then there's this set of requirements because, someone loves someone, so these things need to happen. So how do we shift from that experience? And that's what I want to share here as well, so that we can start to feel that sense of pure love for ourselves and within ourselves that can then translate into our relationships in life, regardless of what form they've taken, what form they are now, and what form they will be. Form is, because that's what love is formless and form together. That's the uniting. And in this mystic path of awakening, we're here to remember ourselves as source, as creator, as this beautiful whole being. And as we're moving into this new human, as this earth is changing and shifting and transitioning into a new experience, and we're shifting more into maybe a sacred, luminous human experience, in that is requiring us to move through life in an embodied state of deep presence. And that embodied deep space of presence is underlying that is deep love and care for life itself. It's very life affirming. It's alive. It's recognizing everything as alive and with meaning and purpose and connection, so that we're not putting conditions or judgments upon anything. And that can be really, really challenging to not do, right? Because we maybe have our own ideals and values and want to see things certain ways, or see other people do things certain ways, or the world behave in certain ways, right? And really what it comes down to is bringing that all back to ourselves and saying, well, how am I being? How am I being? Am I being loving with myself in that way where I can love my own self, my own body, my own being, my own behaviors and thoughts unconditionally? Can I create that space for myself? And the expansion that comes from that, the awareness and the healing and the nourishment that can come from that is so profound. So profound when that inner sense of love, which is that pure love, can radiate through us. And then again, relate to then how we're going to be in the world, because that becomes our frequency. That becomes our state of being. Most of the time, maybe not all the time. We're gonna, as still humans, we're gonna shift and change with the tide and the waves of energy coming through. Every day is different, especially now as we're accelerating. This exploration is just an opportunity to explore more of how we are feeling and experiencing love itself, to gain more clarity, to gain more understanding and understanding of our position with love at this point in time, so we can recognize more opportunities and space within to open to the pure love of self. Because believe me, I'm not totally there yet. I have just been exploring this for some time because of my experience and my experience in life as a kid. And I know many of you can relate to this. As a small child, I'm going to use the words a woman used recently that I've had sessions with in mentorship and is in my groups. She said that she feels like a stranger in a strange land. I thought that was a great way. It's a great way to describe it. Right? I felt the same as a small child. I was like, what is this place? Why am I here? And if I had the words for it, I would be like, this is so incongruent. This is so incoherent. Why are people behaving this way? This is so dramatic. If I had those words in the moment as just a feeling child, I was just like, this doesn't feel good and it doesn't make sense, right? That was my experience of looking around and recognizing on some level that maybe I really couldn't quite consciously explain or understand at the time. As I've gotten older, what I've understood, especially knowing where I've come from other lifetimes and things I've experienced through different lifetimes, and then my current lifetime experiences, was that where's the love? If that was the question I could have asked as a small child, like, where's the love? Because wow, I would look around me and just watching how people behaved and acted and even felt, as some of you may have been too and still are, empathic beings, feeling, like really feeling and sensing that discomfort that people felt, or not being genuine in their expressions or their experiences. And especially, you get this idea of people are supposed to be married, they're supposed to be in love, and they're supposed to be in love with the children, supposed to be these things, the supposed to be's, right? The conditions. And I didn't feel that. I didn't see that as a whole, most of the time in my life. I mean, yeah, there's glimpses, there's those moments when, you see mom and dad connecting, or other people out, connecting that feels good, or you get a hug and a kiss or something from a parent, or a nice connection in some way. And so maybe there's moments, I experienced moments of that, but like a congruent stream of energy. And when I was taking a hypnotherapy class in my early 20s, and I was regressed, and I went into a space of remembering that before I came to Earth for my first time ever, I was in Venus. And when I say in Venus, it's like there's these different realms of Venus, and I'm not going to get into that right now. But the realm I was in was this very incredibly, this space, if you could use one word, it was just a space of pure love and connection, where the relating was extremely pure and real. I mean, there's, to put words to it, might say authentic or genuine or deeply. It was just like being in someone's presence. You just knew them. I just knew them. They knew me. There's no need to talk or explain or do anything. It was just true, pure presence and love. And it was just so rich and profound that when I left there for a mission coming to Earth, and like many of us, we came to Earth in a body. We didn't come to Earth born through parents. So my first time on planet Earth was wormhole from Venus, dropped on planet Earth to do this thing. Whoa, shock. Shock to the system. And that's what I remember. It was almost like, we have birth traumas. I had, Venus to wormhole Earth traumas of, feeling completely separated, and I'm still exploring that whole experience on some levels of what that was like in preparation, what preparation I had or didn't have, or maybe it doesn't matter. I just had my experience, right? Boom. I'm here on planet Earth and just really was shattering in some ways to this new nerve system that I had as an Earth body and an Earth being, that really undid a lot of my conceptions of love, because it was like, whoa, I came from such a pure, incredible space to a place where that didn't exist. And I know in some of I went to Egypt. I was in Egypt for my first mission lifetime on planet Earth. And of course, in some of the mystery schools and some of the priestesses and stuff, there was that energy held. But as a whole field of existence, it wasn't there, right? So that was a huge, whoa, okay, let's, what is that like? And so then I went through lifetimes and uncovered many other lifetimes where there were more incoherent emotions like anger and frustration and overwhelm, sadness, grief, right? Where there wasn't that consistent experience of love. And it was a huge learning, huge growth to understand what it's like to be in the opposite, right? To be in the opposite experience of love. So, and then through this lifetime, like having my heart shattered during, my first love, 17, 18, and, heart shattered, and I closed myself off after that, and it was just like, whew, I don't know about this. This is, and at that time too. And then when I didn't know, I didn't know how to deal with something that I experienced, in the first love. It's so amazing. It's so expansive. It feels so good. It does have that essence of purity and deep presence and connection and that affection that we talked about, that deep interest and there's no words for it, right? We really can't come up with words for what that feels like. And after that, shifted and changed, and I was, heartbroken, and I felt shattered again. It's just, it deepened that imprint for me. With what I uncovered was that, and through other relationships in life, what I uncovered for myself was that love is betrayal, it's untrustworthy, and it's not real. And betrayal, what I mean by betrayal is either A, someone's going to do something that doesn't feel good to us, and there's all sorts of levels of betrayal, right? But what I uncovered for me was that betrayal was I was betraying myself. I was betraying myself in relationships, whether it was through compromising my values, my sense of self, what I really wanted, giving my power away to the other person, and or on the flip side, not knowing how to be with someone and maybe not being very nice and using my power that way, right? And so I just felt like either way, either I was really feeling genuine love and care for someone, or I was trying to figure out how to feel that for someone, I was still betraying myself because I was giving my power away to almost like challenge myself to figure it out, right? To figure it out. And I fell away somewhere in the process. My experience of myself fell away somewhere. And so then I'm untrustworthy. Love is untrustworthy. And therefore, there's no real foundation for it, so it can't even be real and exist. And I fell into that for a while. And, through this life, through my life from my early 20s, or actually in my teenage years, I started meditation, and I was having these blissful experiences, and oh my gosh, this feels so good, like just being in that space and having that pure connection with nature, with the trees and the plants, and that felt so much more alive and real to me than anything else. So it was very challenging to connect with humans on that level, unless it was just like that one person. You have that one person in your life that you're like, yeah, okay, cool, you're safe, you're good. I feel my whole body and my whole system, my whole energy can feel good with you. All right. And having that one person in my life here and there over time supported the opportunity for me to start to really unwind from these experiences of how I have felt betrayed by myself. And that's what I always want to say is in this life, it's always self-reflective, right? So when we're in relationships with others, we can really see who we are by the way we're behaving, or by the way someone is, responding back to us, and how then we're choosing to respond. That interplay, that interplay of connection right there is our opportunity to understand ourselves more, and understand how we really, or understand how we truly want to be with ourselves and others in life. And most importantly is how to be with ourselves. And so that's what I really started to have to play with this, what I felt maybe was a divide within myself, because here I am meditating, having these incredible awakening experiences and connections with guides and nature and the elements and earth and all of these things, and feeling so blissful and connected and love and free, that free of the condition. Is just this presence, this sense. And then, relating to the human world and going, I don't understand. How come we can't have that? How come we can't have more of that? And so to connect with this, to be able to bring it home to a place of really working with it, it's really connecting with it within ourselves and going, wow, okay, what is real? What isn't real? What's an idea? What's a belief? What's a concept? What's a condition? What's a program? How have we been conditioned by what we've experienced in life? And how do we unravel that? And for me, it was really being in that meditation, because that to me felt more real than anything else. So from that place, I just started to explore how I could maybe bring that into life, into relating with others, working my job, being just being out in the world, noticing others. And what's really powerful, when we look at the mystic path of knowing ourselves, the whole knowing thyself, the alchemical path, the mystic path, we have the Lover's card. We have that 6th card where there's the superconscious, that's maybe seen like an angel or something that's above the man and the woman who are naked. The woman being the subconscious, the man representing the conscious, right? This feminine, masculine, or the subconscious, conscious, superconscious, and being naked as in like just being just self in the world, free of identity. And this is divine union. This is the card of divine union, and also the choice of path. Are we going to learn about ourselves and bring these parts of ourselves together in union, this superconscious, our higher self, our soul, our connection to source, with our subconscious, our conscious as being in a body, and this experience of duality and polarity together in union on a path with ourself? Like many choose to be alone, like many people, the mystics, the gurus, choose to just do it in a single state, not being in intimate relationship with others or in going into deep meditation. Or are you going to be in the world? Are you going to be in the world and relate to others? And so we have these choices, and maybe for myself, I went from one to the other. I would go into places where I just wanted to be in deep meditation and connection, but then I noticed, the things that I felt about myself I got to practice and see where I was at with them in relationship to others. And then I thought, wow, relationship to others is a profound opportunity. By bringing this love and connection that I feel with myself in this pure state and source and just the wholeness and unity of life into relationships, to see where I'm at, with it. How am I really relating? What is still a part of myself that is unwinding, learning, growing, or still embedded as a reaction or a response to the world that is imbalanced? And so this pure love is really not about going, oh, I have to be in pure love with everything and everyone and all the time. It's more of going, how can I be in connection to that pure inherent love that's within, and use that as a stabilizing force of presence and value and connection to myself enough that when I'm in relationship with others, that I can do my best, but also see it as a growth process. See it as a growth process, an opportunity to understand behavior, understand my beliefs, to understand where I still maybe don't love myself, right? And that's where that sense of betrayal and untrustworthy and not real pattern really brings itself up. And so really, if we look at this world, if we're living in a place of self-reflection, of reflection, and that's what relationship is, it's a place of reflection, to reflect upon its source, having a unique experience in two different bodies, or, in a family or a monad, or, communities, or in a workplace, having these relationships with itself from an incredibly diverse makeups, of so many different ways that we can view and see and feel the world. And it's incredible, the diversity in the way that we have perspective and the way that we've created things. But then there's these fundamental underlying divine laws and divine presence that's within it all, no matter if we're conscious of it or not. And that's what we're learning to do, is become more conscious of this experience of life. And then we can have more choice. And for me, pure love is that space of pure choice. It's going, wow, of really having that clarity and presence to recognize where things are imbalanced or out of balance, where I'm feeling myself, where I'm not feeling myself. And when I say myself, not I'm feeling what I want to say here, is feeling the different levels and layers of self. Like I'm feeling myself as in maybe my ego, my identity. I'm feeling more myself, my capital S self, that feels more aligned and connected. And I'm weaving with both of them from that space to learn, to grow from that space of pure love that source is. And from that place, in that pure love space of not having conditions or expectations of self, then there can be more of that flow. So when then the fears come up, or the anger comes up, or the feelings of, not feeling good in the self for whatever reason is arising, then you can rest back in and say, wait, okay, where's my stability? For me, it's like I'm just going to rest back into that space that I know that is there, that affinity with love, that affinity with life. And this is an opportunity. Okay, what's here? What's needed? What's present? And coming from that place. And I've been practicing that. I'm not always there, but that's a deep practice for me from having my experiences where I've showed up in life in ways where I thought I was being loving and realized that, that really wasn't coming from, a space of love. That was actually coming from my, a condition or idea, an imbalance in myself, or something I'm learning from, a code, that I've brought in, whether it was jealousy or dissatisfaction, or that betrayal of myself, of giving more than was comfortable for my body. And so this also tunes into the nerve system. Our bodies are amazing at telling us what's comfortable and what's not comfortable. So if we're getting tense in a situation, if the body's tensing up, if we're starting to feel that space where intense emotions want to come out of the body, or our mind is looping with all these thoughts, when our body's reacting and our nerve system is firing either in flight or fight, then we know that there is a place within us that's out of balance, and that, okay, acknowledging that and coming, back into balance with ourself over whatever process or modality or experience that we choose to. And for me, it was always coming back to, all right, what's pure and real for me? What's pure and real for me? What's pure and real for me from my pure presence that can work with the ego and identity to bring that love to the ego and identity that it's having this experience, bring them together into that wholeness of what's coming through the subconscious, that ego identity that's just programmed to act and believe and create and do things in certain ways, to consciously bring them together and connect with the super consciousness and say, okay, what's really true and real here? What's really true and real here? How much can I stand in that and start to shift and move from that place and cultivate that? And we don't even have to use the word love, but it's just it's that presence. It's that unconditional presence that transcends the ego and identity, that really feeds our conscious self from the higher self, from the super conscious, that brings all these parts of us into a union and balance in the moment to settle in and have clarity. And this takes, practice. This takes some self-connection and ways that we really commit. For me, it was a real commitment and devotion. And it was like, if I really want to have a relationship with myself that is centered and grounded in pure love, and therefore I want to be able to relate the best that I can with those around me from that place, then I want to root and ground into that as much as possible. And maybe your words will be different. Maybe your sense of that will be different. And that's beautiful. Just welcome that. It's not one way or the other. We're just exploring here, right? We're exploring what conditions we may have had. So just taking a moment, breathing into your own body and being like, wow, what am I still holding around love? What am I still holding around life itself from these ways that I've perceived, or things I had or didn't had? And I want to take a moment here to just share that there's so many details and there's so many nuances in this, and there's so much to explore, that I've put together a gathering that I'm inviting you into on Friday, December 12th, called Love in Harmony. And we're going to have a couple hours together of this exploration to really get into these places where we're maybe wanting to unify and come more alive with this pure love within ourselves, for ourselves, becoming that frequency and being able to radiate that out, while we discover those imbalances that we may still be holding from this life or other lifetimes around relationship as it pertains to relationship love, right? Love relationship with others, and that connection with source, with ourself, all of that, to transmute some of these old concepts and beliefs, and also the overlays that we've experienced from the distortions that were embedded in planet Earth and other planets and other experiences, to support us in coming into this pure love. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I really feel deeply about this from my own experience in life around love. And what I'd like to do is offer an opportunity for us to come into more of that pure love state with ourselves first, and then see how we can translate that into life and relationships the best that we can and be congruent with that. So that's December 12th. And you can go to my website, awakensoul.net, and go to events. And right there, you'll see Love and Harmony, or it'll be at the top of the page. And you can just click on that and see the details for that and join us Friday, December 12th for Love and Harmony. So I'm going to, in a few minutes, start the Pure Love activation. And before I do, I'd like to connect into the essence of love. You know, we use that word, and that word can bring up so many feelings, so many ideas or pictures or memories. And here it's to bring in that picture and memory of joy, of connection, where we feel that pure connection with something or someone, right? That's that human definition of that great affection or that great interest or pleasure in something. So just maybe tuning into that in your body, tuning into that memory. And it can be maybe a pet you had, or a friend, or a meditation, or an experience in nature. Taking a moment to tune into that. Where the only thing that was there was that sense, that feeling. That sense and that feeling. And recognizing in that sense and that feeling how everything else seems to fall away. It's pure presence, pure love, nothing else. And how maybe it fills up your whole body and fills up your whole space. And maybe you're feeling this, maybe you're not, and that's okay. We're just inviting the opportunity. We're inviting the opportunity. Or maybe there's a small part of you that is open to it. So just acknowledging it and saying hello to it. With the opportunity for it to now or over time expand to really experiencing that sense of pure, that connection with a physical thing outside of yourself in that way of love. Or within yourself as a way of pure energy. Love, pure love, just being pure energy. That frequency that unites life in any form, on any level, unites energy and body, unites mind and heart, and gut, unites your whole being, where everything falls away, because you're just in that sense and connection and feeling and presence. So in this moment, in this space, we welcome ourselves to this feeling that we can bring into and activate this pure love channel that is within us, within every cell, within every spark of DNA, within every energy body, within every experience. And just we're going to invite the essence and frequency of pure love, pure, unconditional, transcendent love and feeling and sense to flow all through us, all through the body, through the mind, through the heart, through the energy body. from the soul, from source, where the pure love of yourself exists, where through all the experiences of life and lifetimes, that there's an underlying foundation of life and love, that we're here to experience life. And in this pure love, we have the strength and courage with ourself to continue, to be, to grow. I'm just inviting a soft, soothing light, a frequency of pure love to flow through the whole body. And as you do this, inviting it to where there's any tensions in the body, maybe just muscle tensions, emotional, mental. And just invite the flow of this pure love to surround, embrace, soften, make space. As we activate the pure memory and remembrance within the core of your being, that every cell of your body knows, that every breath you take in and out knows this connection to life. Welcoming all the coding of your DNA to be surrounded, enveloped, embraced in pure love. The source divine, pure love. That can give us a foundation and a strength to work from in our growth, our self-knowing, and all the challenges that come along the way. That this centered core foundation of pure love the unconditioned self, the selfless self, the transcendent self, has a voice, has a way through to all of the conditions of life. To bring us home to our divine pure love within. Just taking some breaths here. Inviting this pure love to expand, to deepen, to melt away any conditions or tensions that you have in this moment. Any pains, any hurts. And then inviting the love to bring compassion, forgiveness, connection, just pure love, pure love. Good. Inviting this pure love to flow through your whole body, taking some breaths in and out. Inviting pure love to fill you up, and pure love to exhale out and fill up your whole energy body. And then inviting pure love to open up where it can more for you. This pure love for you. And maybe somewhere where you can also invite pure love to life itself. Pure love for others, the earth, the world. Beautiful. Breathing into the heart. Inviting pure love into your heart, to your whole body, the center channel of your body, a flow of light through the whole center channel of your body, and all the energy channels within the body, stabilizing in your root, down into your feet, walking, being, connecting, speaking, feeling, thinking, acting. From pure love as much as is available now. This pure unconditional presence for self, for others. Good. And taking a breath into your body, feeling your feet, feeling your presence. Maybe seeing how that invoked or brought alive compassion. Maybe forgiveness. And a deeper sense of connection with yourself. Good. And as you breathe in, just notice this is something that you can do on a daily basis if you wish to, is to practice bringing and inviting and invoking that pure love from within to expand and nourish through your body and support anything that's needed in your experience, in your present experience, or maybe past if needed as well. And see what it's like to start playing with that and seeing what happens with that. For me, I know it supports more compassion for self, more compassion for others, less judgment of self and others, more pause in life, slowing down to be able to really take in the experience that I'm having, so I have more choice of who I'm going to be in the moment. And of course, as I say, it's a moment by moment, day by day experience too. Some days are easier than others. And that's where that compassion and the unconditional self comes in, an unconditional experience of pure love comes in. It can open up that opportunity and possibility to have more space to really connect into what's real. And that's what I really came to, was that yes, love is real and love can be trusted when I'm coming from a place of my own pure, real, true love within, not expecting anything of that from the outside. Because those expectations are what can cause that split, right? If we're not receiving something from the outside, because if we're not in it ourselves, then we can't really truly receive it or see it. It's just an idea of what it is. So the more we play with what's real in our experience of love within, what is it for us, and how we feel and move and experience it, this place of unconditional presence, then we get to see how we get to be in action and life with it, and where we can adjust. And sometimes it's just moment to moment adjustments. Sometimes there's those deeper core things that it may take more time and space to heal and understand and move through from that place. So pure love is a gateway of opportunity to understand the self and know the world and be present. So I'd love to know what that feels like for you and any feedback you have. So you can either write it, click on the ask button and type it in, or you can email me, those of you who get my emails, or you can go to my contact page on my website, awakensoul.net, and share. This is a profound time we're moving through, this deep shift that's happening on our planet. I feel we'll be able to optimize, have greater sense of the reality that we're creating is going to be based on the frequency that we're being, by who we're being in life, and those frequencies. And the frequencies, of course, that vibration that's coming from the frequencies is creating our reality. Just like we can feel, other people's emotions or sense different things, that's the vibration we're feeling from the frequency of their thoughts, feelings, and experience, or from nature, from the plants, or from, the animals. And so this is just a reminder that as we're moving and shifting through this profound, crazy world at this moment, to then go, what frequency do I really want to have in my core that I can always return to, that supports the rest of how I'm choosing to be in the world, with all the other ways that I have to be in the world, whether it's with my children or at work or a partner or friends or whatever it is that you're relating to, that, how can I have that core frequency of pure love that's unconditional and selfless, as in not really just self, there's nothing lacking with the less, it's more of self-full in your pure self, your soul self, your source self, that can support through your consciousness, right, the ego and the identity, and having that union working and bringing all of that and those layers of consciousness together as much as possible from that pure core love, pure love within. So if you want to explore more and discover more about yourself and go through more transformational process to support that core place of pure love and frequency, you can join me in the Love and Harmony Gathering Friday, December 12th. And of course, you can go to my website, awakensoul.net, click on events, you'll see that. And it's also in the top bar right there at the top of the page. You'll see that. You can click there and get the information to join us and create our new earth from this place. And today, just remembering, okay, Breathing into your body and saying, is this loving for myself? Is this pure loving for myself? Really giving myself what I need? Am I really showing up for myself in this way? And then seeing, and then when you can get into that state, seeing how it maybe shifts and changes. Notice how it shifts and changes your experience in life, and how you're being, how you're feeling, how you're experiencing your reality, because it's very different. It becomes very different. And actually, that's where sometimes we have more joy and laughter and freedom and strength and boldness and courage to show up how we really want to show up and be who we really want to be. So pure love. Let pure love be your foundation to have the gentleness and the strength together, playing in unity to live the life you really want to live as a soul. So thank you so much for being here. I am always grateful for you listening in and connecting. So next show, I'm excited. So join me next time, December 17th. With Zoe Davenport. We're going to have another illuminating, awakening experience. And Zoe has been on the Unity Consciousness event, and we had an amazing conversation there and a lot of really good feedback. So join us Wednesday, December 17th on Transformation Talk Radio at 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Eastern for that amazing conversation. Until then, breathe in love, breathe out love, and have a wonderful day. Be well. Take care. Thank you for joining Awakened Soul, your place to elevate unity consciousness and to create the new earth. Join me, Kristen Bielecki, every first and third Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information and to connect with me, go to awakenedsoul.net. Explore how I can support you on your awakening journey through my online gatherings, sessions, and mentorships. Don't miss a show. Subscribe now to take the steps towards a more awakened, heart and soul-led life. Until next time, live, love, laugh, and be free.